Fight FM. Romantics. They hear you talking in your sleep. That may very well be a reason to avoid the Ambien for a little while. It's 8:43 here, 17 now before 9.
Advisory services offered through Second Half Financial Partners, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions voiced and information provided in this material are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments are appropriate for you, please consult with a financial advisor. Second Half Financial Partners, LLC does not provide tax or legal advice. Please consult your tax or legal advisor regarding your particular situation.
And let's check in and see what we need to ask our financial advisor when we do that, with a look at the markets and what's happening to your money. On the telephone, Philip Statler from Statler Financial Services to polish off the week here. Happy Friday, Philip.
It is, as we finish up the first full week of July and the third quarter. It's been an up and down week. And yesterday was, let's just call it a nice day. It was up across the board.
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of whiplash because neither one of us can really figure out exactly why. All we know is that technology suddenly woke up and started doing things. The Dow ended up 139. Standard & Poor's 500 was up by 61. NASDAQ was up 1.3%, up 336. And even the Russell 2000, the small stock growth index, was up by 1.2%. I was kind of thinking that maybe tech was going up because we have a new stock we can buy in the tech market starting today. SK Hynix. It's a big South Korean chip maker. They've been in business since God was a child, as I understand it, but now they're listing themselves on NASDAQ today, and I thought maybe that might have excited the tech people, but no, looking at the futures, now that you can actually buy this thing, that didn't do it because they aren't particularly excited on that front. But I've got a new chart that I've been getting in lately on the different sectors. All week, healthcare has been the big growth sector in the process. Healthcare was off yesterday. Technology, for the first time all week, actually led the gainers. The tech stocks on balance up 1.73% yesterday. And as God is my witness, Philip, I don't know why, because there really wasn't any news that encouraged it yesterday, was there?
No, not that I saw anyway. Nothing that really would have lent itself to that kind of a bump. But you're right. It was a bump across the board. And I know you don't get the NASDAQ 100 on your list, but it was the big winner yesterday. It's almost at 30,000. It's 29,727, up 1.6% yesterday.
Crap, hold on. which of the two NASDAQ measures do the ETFs and the mutual funds try to track? The NASDAQ index that we quote every morning, or the NASDAQ 100?
So it depends. Some of them are specific to the NASDAQ 100, and some of them are the NASDAQ as a whole. So you really have to look at the ETF specifically to see which one they're tracking.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I've heard the NASDAQ 100 referred to, and the NASDAQ index that we quote every morning is the one that's I always thought more commonly used. But is the NASDAQ 100 price-weighted just like the NASDAQ index is?
I think they're the same. It just takes the top 100.
Oh, okay. I need education, too, every once in a while. I didn't know that. But no, Micron, SanDisk, Marvell, all jumped yesterday, and like we said, with no particular reason, because we didn't get any exceptionally good news. Mortgage rates inched up, which shouldn't surprise much because our bond rates have been going up, and we didn't get a particularly good home sales report yesterday either, did we?
No, it was down a little bit. It was like 4.09 million. The expectation was 4.2 million, but it was down 100,000, because it was 4.19 million the month before. So it was heading in the wrong direction.
And it's probably not going to be a lot better this month with the inching up on mortgage rates. Because we've been watching SpaceX as they got added into the NASDAQ. SpaceX closed yesterday at 152.16. Still, I think, below where the initial price offer was after the IPO got started, but it actually was up 2.6% yesterday, so Elon Musk got a little bit richer anyway.
Hey, another tidbit, Dave.
Yeah.
World oil demand set for the first annual decline since COVID 2020.
Can't buy it. Why?
Can't get it, right?
Can't get those turkeys through the straits. I guess we're stuck plugging into something, aren't we? That it's interesting though. We actually see a decline. In economics, they talk about demand curves and elasticity in demand curves. Maybe we finally found a bend in the demand curve with these prices for oil staying high as long as they have.
That could very well be.
It's a possibility. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of tidbits out there, but we're starting to get some of the name brands actually reporting. It's always interesting because it used to be Alcoa was always the first stock to report in earnings season. They've kind of gotten buried back down in the heap. Last few quarters, Delta has kind of broken the chain and been the one that's reported first, and we've got their reports this morning. How did they do last quarter?
Delta did well. They beat on both earnings and revenue. And they believe that even though jet fuel costs are going up, the demand is still there for flights, and they've been able to keep their pricing high, which has helped offset some of that increase in costs when it comes to jet fuel. They are trading down a little bit today just because it is an uphill battle. But not near what they were down as much as 3% earlier this morning. Now they're down about 0.6%. So not too bad there.
Ooh, I know the prices have gone up. I haven't flown for cash for a little while because I've got miles on my card running out of my ear, but making a little trip up to South Dakota in early October, and I ended up doing it on miles, and I looked at it and said the cheapest miles that I could find, like 40,000 frequent flyer miles for a trip to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm saying, wait a minute here, that used to be 20,000. What a change. How'd WD-40 do? I know they reported too.
WD-40 they kind of hit it out of the park last quarter, Dave. They earned $2.33 a share versus $1.56 expected. Revenue up to, they hiked their full year guidance. So they are up 16% this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had a good report and they actually benefited from it in contrast to Delta, right?
They did. So yeah, some good news for them.
Cool. With all of the sectors going up and down and not being able to keep track, and that when we have increases like this with no reason on the text, it's kind of hard to be able to figure out how a retirement plan could possibly end up happening when you're following the stock market day by day. We always preach about the notion that you need a plan for retirement. I think it's about time I ask you, what the heck is a retirement plan, and how do I put one together?
That's a good question, Dave, as we look at Freedom Friday, because freedom comes by planning, right? So a real retirement plan is more than just a list of accounts, right? That's what a lot of folks have. It's more about looking at, well, there's really 5 components when it comes to putting together a plan. Income, you got to have income in retirement. Taxes, investments, healthcare, and estate. Those are really the 5 key pieces when it comes to planning. If you talk to somebody and they just want to talk about investments as usual, then that's not a plan. That's a product. If you look at a sample that I kind of put together, somebody has a portfolio that somebody built for them, and it's it's done well, it's earned well, but there's no income strategy, there's no tax plan, there's nothing for long-term care, and her beneficiary form was still not quite up to date. These are all things that people need to look at and really pay attention to when it comes to the planning process. And that's really what we want people to do here in Highlands County and Central Florida, is have a plan in place for their retirement, because it's important, Dave. It's one of the most important things you can do when you get ready for retirement, is have a plan in place.
And it ain't just what you're invested in that constitutes a plan. It's a lot more than that, isn't it?
It is. It's those 5 key areas. If you're just thinking about investments as your plan, that's not a plan at all. That's 20% of what you need to have put together as a planning process.
I got you. And one more reason to have a financial planner to help work along with you. Another reason is the herky-jerkies in the market the way it is, resetting the table. Everything was up yesterday. It was a pretty doggone good day across the board from the blue chips all the way through the adventurous growth stocks. 45 minutes before we opened this morning, sir. What are we looking at?
Well, right now it's a mix. Well, it was a mixed bag. Let me see here. I got to update my numbers here. Here we go. Well, still kind of a mixed bag. The Dow is up 0.25%. The S&P 500 is actually flat right now, and the Nasdaq 100 is down about 0.4. So it looks like we're going to be a little green and a little red this morning as we get started. Silver and gold both down this morning. Crude oil's up a little bit, but down from yesterday's number. It's at $72.19 a barrel right now.
All righty. Looking at the overseas markets, the Asian Rim market is still a little on the nervous side after a gangbuster day on the mainland Chinese markets yesterday. Both mainland Chinese markets were down by more than 1% at the end. On the other hand, Japan was up by 1.2%. Just let's hear. South Korea, they like the fact their chip monster is now on our exchange. They were up 2.5%. Going over to the European community, everything is generally green. A couple, Germany and France are both down by a little bit. Overall, the average European index is up by about 0.05%, green, but not very much halfway through their trading day. Talking about getting a plan, talking about controlling one's risk, need to get a hold of somebody to do that for me. How do I find you to make it all happen in my portfolio?
David, give us a call at 863-382-0037. We'd love to spend some time with them to make sure that you've got a plan in place that's going to get you into and through retirement. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk, 7:30 a.m., 95.3 FM.
And us back again next week together as well. You have a marvelous weekend, sir, and we'll see you next week, all right?
All right, man. Take care.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Philip Statler.
Folks, thanks for joining us today. Hope your week has gone well. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.